Generation Rewind.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Generation Rewind, brought to you by the palaceofwisdom.co.uk. I'm Mike and this is episode 5, LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga. Episode 5 sends us back in time to 2007, before there was the LEGO movie, before there was comic book adaptations in LEGO, before Harry Potter made even more money with the help of LEGO. There was one franchise that put LEGO games firmly in the mainstream: LEGO Star Wars. It all began back in 2005. A game released based on the prequel movies surprised everyone because it was actually fun as opposed to the movies. The following year saw the only Star Wars trilogy that matters get the construction toy treatment, and although the handheld version didn't get much praise, the console release sales soared, with critics praising it for its honest and yet humorous take on the Star Wars movies. Fast forward another year and TT Games decided to merge the two games and created LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga. The greatest game in the franchise, possibly the greatest LEGO game full stop. I'm here to explain why. Let's start with the obvious, the story. The Complete Saga allows you to play through all 6 of the movie storylines. That's 36 levels of construction toy joy. So, first half of the game, well, 20 years after one of the greatest movie trilogies of all time wowed the world, George Lucas decided to ruin everyone's childhood by releasing the prequels. And let's face it, they weren't that great. The Phantom Menace was dull, even with Liam Neeson. Attack of the Clones didn't have enough clones attacking, and way too much love story, and Return of the Sith gave us the worst movie death reason of all time. She died of a broken heart. That said, the 18-minute Kenobi vs Anakin fight at the end of episode 3 was damned awesome. So with that in mind, you might be thinking, why in God's name would I want to play a game based on 6 hours of rubbish? Well, TT Games and LEGO have actually done a better job than George Lucas of making this poorly constructed trilogy actually fun and exciting. The levels focus on specific scenes from movies and cut away the crap. There's no poor acting from Hayden Christensen to worry about, and Jar Jar Binks doesn't speak, so that's 90% of the rubbish removed straight away. With the story slimmed down to what's important, we're left with a trilogy consisting of epic space battles, Sith attacks, and pod racing, none of which is bad. For this alone, we thank you, TT Games. The second half of the game is a different story. The original trilogy: boy meets old man, learns Force, falls for girl, finds out girl is sister, finds out daddy rules the galaxy. That age-old tale we've all come to know and love so much. Does LEGO do the original trilogy justice? Well, the answer is yes, it bloody does. Every scene you can picture when you think of the Star Wars trilogy is here, whether it's that bum-faced alien in the Mos Eisley Cantina or the rebel attack on the second Death Star. It's here to enjoy, with a bit of the now legendary LEGO humour thrown in for good measure. So what about the gameplay? Well, the Star Wars games essentially became the template for future LEGO games, so even now, 7 years on, there's something very familiar for those who have not actually played the older games and have only played the newer releases. That said, this was a more simple time. Unlike LEGO Batman, where one button controls 50 different weapons, you're not going to have that here, and you're not going to have 20 different suits with different powers. Playing as a Jedi, you have a button for your lightsaber and a button for the Force. If you're a gun-wielding character, you have a button for your gun and a button to swing on ropes. It's that simple. This may not sound great compared to some of the newer games, but this lack of complexity means that you spend less time worrying about which button to press and more time about enjoying the actual story and enjoying the game, which is not a bad thing. It does have a couple of annoying faults though, the main one being the lack of quick character switch. Something that's been taken for granted in the newer LEGO games doesn't exist here, so it can get quite frustrating when you have to travel halfway back through a level to go and get your AI companion because he's got himself stuck to a rock. This is a minor thing though, and once you get used to it, it doesn't bother you that much. The open world hub we've come to expect from the LEGO games is drastically smaller than, say, anything post LEGO Batman 2. But you are treated to the cantina music on loop as you stroll around the grounds of the fabled bar populated by all the characters you've unlocked during the game. Where this game truly shines though, and where I feel that no other LEGO game has matched since, is in the vehicle levels. Whether it's a pod racer, the Falcon, a Rebel fighter or a speeder. It's fun, it's exciting, and in many cases it's bloody difficult. No other LEGO game has done justice to the vehicle specific levels like this one, and so the 7-year-old remains top of its class here. Sound is another area that lacks the newer features, as in there is no voiceover work. Yes kids, back in the old days we used to play our LEGO games without voices, something that was only introduced as late as LEGO Lord of the Rings. Will this bother you? Probably not. Thanks to John Williams we have an awesome soundtrack blaring out. The last thing you need is distracting talking. Embrace the opera awesomeness that is the Star Wars soundtrack and enjoy the game. The music is straight out of the movies. Each level in the game is treated to the ambient music from the movie scene it's based on, and it all adds that extra touch of class that reminds the player that despite the blocky environment, this is very much a Star Wars game. Graphically, this game suffers with age a little. It will do, it's 7 years old. The cutscenes are inferior in definition and detail compared to today's LEGO game. That said, the actual levels don't look too dated compared to today's games. Yes, the Iron Man suit from LEGO Marvel Superheroes is sharper and a bit more detailed, but there's enough detail in these lovable characters to tell the difference between a Jedi and a Sith, and that's all that matters. If you love Star Wars, then you need this game in your life. It encapsulates everything that is great about the movies, throws in its own twist, and then throws out a game that is enjoyable, very funny, and yet a brilliant tribute to something loved by so many. Thank you for watching and please get in touch. Contact information is coming up shortly, and don't forget to subscribe to iTunes and please leave a review. If you like it, say you like it. If you don't, tell me why. If you have any suggestions for future episodes, maybe a game that you consider great from the last gaming generation, then please let me know and I'll get on the case. I'll be back very soon with another episode, but for now, goodbye, and may the Force be with you.